thank you very, very much. And thank you for your hospitality today, but also thank you for the very good work we've been able to do today. I was very pleased as well with David Lammy to be able to spend time with President Zelensky and other colleagues. And the Foreign Secretary and I came to Ukraine today to really hear from our partners how we can continue to work together to help Ukraine defend its people, defend its territory through the fall fighting season into the winter as Putin continues his vicious war of aggression. And also how to continue to set up Ukraine for success as a strong, independent country for the long term. We're going to take what we learned back to President Biden in my case and the Prime Minister in David's case. The two of them will meet in just a few days' time in Washington to discuss how our countries will continue to support Ukraine. And we'll also use what we learned to further rally support among many countries that are behind Ukraine. We'll be at the UN General Assembly in just a couple of weeks' time. We'll be meeting with many allies and partners as well who are in NATO, the G7, the compact of states that have signed bilateral security agreements with Ukraine. All of this is happening in the coming weeks. It's important that the Ukrainian people continue to hear directly from us. We remain fully committed to Ukraine's victory, to not only ensuring that Ukraine can defend itself today, but can stand on its own feet strongly, militarily, economically, democratically, for many, many days ahead, to securing the path the Ukrainian people have chosen toward greater integration in the Euro-Atlantic community, including the European Union and NATO, to getting a just and lasting peace. The bottom line is this: we want Ukraine to win, and we're fully committed to keep marshaling the support that it needs for its brave defenders and citizens to do just that. Now, support for Ukraine will endure because it doesn't depend on any one country, any one party, any one election. Here today, the United States, the United Kingdom are united in support of Ukraine and its success. But we're united along with dozens of other countries, including the enduring coalition of more than 50 countries that have provided more than $100 billion in security aid to Ukraine since February of 2022 and continue to materially support Ukraine today. Our message, our collective message to Putin is clear. Our support will not wane. Our unity will not break. Putin will not outlast the coalition of countries committed to Ukraine's success, and he is certainly not going to outlast the Ukrainian people. They've never wavered in their belief that they, and they alone, will decide their future. Now, we have challenging moments. This is a challenging moment as well, with an expansion of attacks from Russia, pummeling Ukrainian cities, citizens, infrastructure with monstrous brutality. And now Putin's further empowering his aggression with the acquisition of Iranian ballistic missiles. So we're working with urgency to continue to ensure that Ukraine has what it needs to effectively defend itself. At the NATO summit back in July, President Biden promised 5 strategic air defense systems and dozens of tactical air defense systems. We've delivered on several of those strategic systems. We're fully working to meet the commitment in the coming weeks, and will continue to add to Ukraine's air defense systems. We've also supported and trained the F-16 program that is now flying over Ukraine. The United States continues to be the largest provider of security assistance to Ukraine and to lead the international coalition in support of its defense. As we're meeting here today, we're again seeing Putin dust off his winter playbook, targeting Ukrainian energy and electricity systems to weaponize the cold against the Ukrainian people. That's why today we're announcing $325 million in new funding to help repair Ukraine's energy and electric grid. And we'll rally additional support from the G7 plus countries when we have a meeting of the Energy Coordination Group in the next couple of weeks. I'm also announcing today $290 million in new humanitarian support to help provide vital services like safe drinking water, food, shelter, medicine to millions of people in Ukraine and around the region who've been displaced by Putin's war. And finally, we're announcing $102 million in additional funding in humanitarian demining to help remove landmines and unexploded ordnance that Russia's left behind across Ukraine. Now, support for Ukraine's defense and recovery is not only coming from Ukraine's partners. The United States and our G7 partners agreed to deliver $50 billion from Russia's frozen assets to pay for Ukraine's reconstruction and defense. And we're working to meet that commitment, to operationalize it. And we and our allies will continue to impose costs on countries that support Russia's war machine. For all of these challenges, Ukraine has made remarkable progress on each of its key goals since I was last here, which is back in May. They've made progress militarily in standing up a strong, enduring capacity to deter and defend against aggression. At the July summit, we declared that Ukraine's path to NATO membership is irreversible. And for the first time, NATO established a command dedicated to support Ukraine's membership. Last time I was here, 9 countries had completed bilateral security agreements with Ukraine. Now that number is 26 and counting, including, of course, the United States and the United Kingdom. That will provide a foundation of support for Ukraine's defense for years to come. And Ukraine's defense industrial base has grown 6-fold in the last year alone. In the coming years, that's going to give Ukraine one of the most advanced defense industries in the world, and it will be able to take that to the global market and take global market share away from other countries like Russia, and also supply NATO allies. Ukraine's making economic progress. We've been taking steps to make it easier for investors and companies to do business here in Ukraine. For example, together with the private sector, we recently announced a first-of-its-kind $350 million war risk reinsurance facility. That's going to make it easier for companies to invest, even as the war goes on. And Ukraine continues to make progress on deepening its democracy. It's taken important steps, including the Rada recently passing a law to reform oversight of financial crimes, expanding the number of judges on the anti-corruption court, delivering prosecutions in high-profile corruption cases. The active engagement and leadership on the part of Ukraine's engaged and committed civil society has been crucial to this progress. Now, more work needs to be done on reform. Ukraine needs to ensure investors and businesses that they're treated fairly and don't have to compete in a gray market. Ukraine needs institutions that are independent, effective, and free from political interference. That's crucial for the National Anti-Corruption Bureau, for its regulatory bodies and the boards of state-owned enterprises, and for the customs legislation that's currently before the Rada. These and other reforms Ukraine is pursuing because it's in Ukraine's interest to do so. It's what the Ukrainian people want. It's also essential as Ukraine moves down the path to the European Union and to NATO. The enduring commitment of the Ukrainian people is one of the main reasons that we're confident Ukraine will keep moving forward. No matter how great the obstacles thrown in their way, Ukrainians have demonstrated time and again that nothing can stand in the way of a people committed to shaping their own future.